get your low-cut socks from Marks? Almost empty shelves in your local co-op? Inconvenient for you, but potentially a disaster for the companies, because the reason is that both have been victims of cyber attacks that have paralysed their computer systems. The most profitable form of cyber attack at the moment is ransomware, where criminals infiltrate computer systems, shut them down and then demand a ransom to restore services, or even demand the money to stop them publishing data they've stolen. 4 years ago, we made an episode about ransomware, but it's clear that the problem hasn't gone away. So what exactly is ransomware? Who's responsible? What can be done about it? And why hasn't it been done already? Step into the briefing room and together we'll find out. First, how do these ransomware attacks work? Emily Taylor is CEO of Oxford Information Labs and co-founder of the Global Signal Exchange. Emily Taylor, can you explain to me and the listener how a ransomware attack works?
If you were in a company and you were subject to ransomware, probably the first thing that you would know is that nothing works. You can't get in. It's like being locked out of your house, locking your keys in the car. You can see where you want to be, but you can't be in there.
You can't get into your computer system.
You can't get into your computer system. And so think about all of the different ways that we use systems, particularly in complex businesses. It's about your email, all your communications, all your business records, everything that's going on, and also the ability to find out and communicate with your people. All of that's gone. And so speaking to people who've done, response to ransomware attacks, what they all remark on is how disorientated everybody is, how frightened they are actually, because we all rely on these systems so much and being locked out because a criminal has got into your system, has scrambled the data in it and also locked you out of it.
You're locked out, your computer system just won't work. How do you know that you've been the victim of a ransomware attack?
Well, usually there's a demand. It's the extortion. It's like, we've locked you out of your system, we've got your data, you need to pay a ransom. A bit like taking your data hostage. It's like old-fashioned kidnapping.
Do they stick that up on the screen? So if you're locked out and does something come up on screen and say, we've got your stuff?
Often that's the way, or there will be some other contact. But it is the sort of, you go to where you expect to see a familiar and reassuring image of your stuff, and instead you get a ransom notice.
Let's say you've been a victim of the attack and you do pay the ransom. What's the guarantee that they won't just do it again?
If you pay the ransom, there's no guarantee that they won't do it again. There's no guarantee that they'll release your data. And it's a bit like, there's often waves of different types of crime in the real world, like piracy, hijacking and so on. And actually paying the ransom feeds the business model. If people pay the ransom, then it's good business. There is no guarantee that you'll get your data back.
Right. Now, how have the criminals got into the system in the first place?
Often the way in is quite straightforward and a technique that's often used in a lot of cybercrime. What is called social engineering or phishing is somebody pretending to be a trusted party and getting the target to reveal either their personal information or their access to a system. And another thing that has come up in the context of the recent spate of ransomware attacks affecting the UK is a thing called SIM swapping.
SIM swapping?
SIM swapping. So that is, you have the ability, we all have the ability to move our phone number from one device to another, okay? And that's actually very useful. It can maintain our phone number across our Nokia bricks to our smartphones to the latest and greatest. So a cyber criminal can exploit that by getting a phone company to move the target's phone number to a SIM that the criminal is in control of. And in that case, they can get all of those access codes that we get when you want to change your password, what we call the two-factor. You intercept it as the criminal. The target doesn't know anything about it except that their phone weirdly stops working. And then you can reset the passwords to a number of sensitive systems. And it's thought that can be a way in.
totally terrifying. Is ransomware the main type of cyber attack we're seeing at the moment?
There are many types of cyber attack happening at the moment. The global cost of cybercrime as a whole is estimated to be about 10 or 11 trillion dollars, which in context, if it was a global economy, it would be one of the best economies in the world, right? So ransomware is part of that, and actually a lucrative area. But there's also scams and fraud, romance scams, investment scams that affect individuals rather than companies, and can end up with individuals losing tens, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Do you think that companies like M&S and other retail companies like this, are felt to be more likely to pay up than other institutions which you might target?
That could well be, retail, there's a lot of cash, there's a lot of transactions, the impact of being out. Marks and Spencer's 3 or 4 weeks on from the initial outage is still not able to process online orders. That's devastating for a business. And so you do want, as a cyber criminal, your target should be willing to pay. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I think we can infer from the fact that the outage has been so prolonged for Marks and Spencer's that they haven't paid. And that's an incredibly principled stand, but it's, I'm sure, hurting their business.
Emily Taylor,